welcome to episode 4 of the Undisputed podcast. Myself and Julio are here. I'm tired as hell. I'm still jet lagged. I just got off the plane from Pakistan yesterday afternoon, so excuse me if I look a little bit tired and wired.
Welcome back, Danny. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, Pakistan was definitely an experience. I'll tell you my favorite story.
Yeah.
So everyone said to me, is it safe in Pakistan? I was like, yeah, it feels pretty safe. And then I went to a shopping center.
Yeah.
And the sign outside the shopping center said, no weapons, no explosives, no pets.
Wow. All of a sudden you felt like you were in Benoni.
Yeah, it was a cool thing to see though. I mean, I was like, should I take a photo of the sign? And then I saw the military guy standing in front of me. I was like, maybe not such a great idea. But the trip was great. The people were awesome. Like the event was just insane. So yeah, it was a good trip all in all.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing from it, man. It's good to be back. Should we get right into it?
Yeah,
mate?
let's jump into the first one.
All right, so I think Conor McGregor, I don't know if he's ever going to fight again. He obviously launched his proper 12 whiskey again. He tells quite a nice story on a very emotional Instagram post here. Where he used to be a truck driver and now he's in the truck and on the truck and he's actually driving the truck all over the place, you know. Very proud moment for him.
And I was just a first apprentice plumber where the older guy would say to me, the fully qualified plumber would say, get down to the storeroom and get such and such amount of copper pipes and this width and all of this type of stuff, and I'd have to take a truck because the site was so big. I just have to jump in the truck. Hadn't even got my licence. I know I had got my licence. I had got my driver's licence. But I'm driving on a site. You know, like sites are a big mucky fucking thing. Driving down the site to a storeroom and then loading up the copper pipes and driving back. And now here we are back in the trucks. Now we're on them and we're in them.
No, we're on them and we're in them. I mean, very, very cool. You know, like him, love him, I hate him. I mean, Conor is just, you know, he's cool. And I mean, I hope he comes back. But this proper whiskey thing is massive for him. And if you think where he started, you know,
he has. I mean, the story of Conor McGregor is
incredible.
Great. It is. I think it's an incredible story. I do still think he's a bit of a douchebag, but the story of where he came from and where he's got to, I think, is. I mean, it's off the charts great.
You know, mate, for me as a fan, I think since the Khabib thing, the whole Conor McGregor sort of thing has diluted a little bit because I've really started to realize that all this mental warfare and everything he does is just part of the game and it's just part of getting people to watch. I don't think it's as serious as they all claim to be and they hate each other as much as they do. I don't think it is. You know what I mean? Even Khabib has said, it's cool, Conor, we fine, bud. Don't worry, you know, like everything's fine. And, you know, there's no real animosity and real hate there. But anyway.
Yeah, but I think after you beat the shit out of someone, it kind of settles a little bit.
Yeah, that does. A big one coming up, and this one I'm very, very excited about. Tyson Fury up against Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury made it onto the Joe Rogan podcast this week, which is obviously
didn't smoke any weed like Elon Musk.
No, he didn't. No. So I just want to play this a little bit. I mean, it was an hour podcast, and I mean, he literally sat there talking about his depression and where he's come back from, and it's an incredible story. But what we're interested in here is Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. So Joe Rogan asked him a little bit about that, and this is what Tyson Fury had to say. It's a bit of a one-trick pony.
Not really, no. How can I explain this without sounding like a clown? I'll try my best. Deontay Wilder is a one-trick pony. I don't need to do anything special to beat him. I just need to be myself. Deontay Wilder's looking for one right hand all night.
It's a good trick, though.
Yeah, knocking people the fuck out is a pretty good trick.
100%.
When that trick don't land, you've lost.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would definitely say, like, go online, watch it. It is very, very entertaining. I mean, he calls him a one-trick pony. Remember when everybody said he couldn't beat Vladimir Klitschko? He went to Russia, he beat Vladimir Klitschko. I think he's going to beat Deontay Wilder. I really do.
Are we going to take a little friendly bet on this one?
Are you with Deontay?
100%.
But he's just, you know, he just tries to throw that right and goes for the knockout. So
I mean, there isn't anyone he's fought that he hasn't knocked out yet.
Yeah,
they've said that multiple times.
Right. Well, I lost the last one, so we'll take a little friendly $100 there. There you go, $100 bets. Okay.
Get on to social media and tell us who you behind. Are you backing me or are you backing Julia on this one? For those that didn't watch this weekend, UFC, Don Magic Man Madge made his UFC debut against Tay Edwards. Tay Edwards was handpicked by Dana White. To make his debut in UFC. So he was touted, he was the favorite. Don Madge was the underdog. Obviously, everyone from South Africa, us included, wanted Don Madge to come away with a win in this one. And for those that didn't see it...
Oh, it was beautiful. What a finish. Take a look at this.
Here it is.
Caught him with the first kick. Boom. Stuns him. Finishes him with second kick. Oh!
And yeah, you'll see what the commentator says.
By Don Madge! Say hello to South African MMA!
South African
So that's the part everyone did see. What they didn't see is that Tay Edwards actually got a takedown in the first round, which is where I thought Madge would struggle.
Yeah.
Because he is a wrestler.
Yeah.
Madge, his defense was just incredible. Almost got Edwards into a horrible armbar as well. Almost finished the fight on the ground. So great ups to Don Madge in this one. He dominated that fight all the way through. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. They gave out three fight bonuses for the whole UFC event. Madge was one of the bonuses that actually got given out as well. So
60 G's, baby!
There we go. A nice little payday for Don Madge there.
Absolutely.
And then the other one that everyone was talking about, and I'm going to run you through this as it happens. So I've got multiple issues with this whole thing, and I'm going to give my opinion. We are going to run over, but I'm going to give my opinion on what happened. I was at the Brave event. I was in the van, so I watched all of this go down. And I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to tell you where my issues are. So there was an illegal strike to the back of the head there by Khamzat Magomedov. The referee stops the fight, pulls them apart. One illegal strike to the back of the head. JP Base can't continue. He says that he's unable to continue. And Khamzat just loses his mind. He starts, giving the double fingers to the cameras. People run in, start swearing at Mark Goddard. It's just absolute mayhem in the cage. You can see there, Khamzat's still very emotional, very upset about this. They thought Base was faking. That's why they were so upset about it, that the fight got called. He then runs over. You can see his coach there talking to Mark Goddard. He walks up to JP, starts shouting at him. And Chad Hanekom absolutely floors him across the cage. And a melee breaks out in the middle of the cage.
This seems to be like the new norm now. You see, this is the problem with the melee that happened with Khabib. And
it's now made everything happen.
It's now made everything happen, and everybody feels like I need to do this to kind of like get the attention of the world.
So this brings me back to Team MMA. So I still think it's a great idea.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to tell you where my issues are with this. So you saw the first strike to the back of the head. Now, in my opinion, Khamzat and his team had a reason to be upset, and I'm going to tell you why. I think Mark Goddard made a mistake, and I'm going to get slammed for saying that. But if there's an illegal strike to an opponent, his job is to warn the opponent, say, no illegal strikes to the back of the head. If he lands another one, you stand them up, you take away a point, you do all those things. If he then does it a third time, you stop the fight.
Yeah.
This was an immediate DQ for 2 or 3 strikes to the back of the head. So I immediately think that's where the screw-up was.
Yeah.
So Khamzat was emotional, he was upset. Again, I think that, the double fingers to the camera while everyone in the world is watching is wrong, so suspension definitely for him. He walks over to JP Base, starts screaming at him. Chad Hanekom then comes over and basically rugby slams him across the cage, which is the other issue. Because once you put hands on another fighter, it's a free-for-all. Like, I think he could have handled it a bit better, got in between.
He was going for his fighter when he's fighting.
Well, he was standing over him, shouting at him. He wasn't taking a swing at him. If he took a swing, I'd go, Chad should have just wiped him the fuck out.
All right.
But it's a 30-kilo heavier guy throwing a guy across a cage. So my issue is, when does the I'm defending my teammate stopped? Okay, you shouted at my guy, so now I'm going to throw him across the cage. Now his teammate's going to go, well, you shoved my guy, so now us 3 guys must fight with you. Like, where does it stop going, well, now I'm just defending my teammate? This actually spills over outside the arena. And there was more issues between the coach and one of the other fighters. There was actually punches thrown in the parking lot.
Sure, not cool.
It went into the hotel. There was punches thrown in the hotel, in the elevator. This was a complete mess. So I've spoken to Brave, and Brave have said they're reviewing all of the footage from the hotel, from the parking lot, from inside the arena. But in my opinion, everyone's going to get suspended, from Chad to Khamzat to the coaches to pretty much everybody. And I think it's the right way to go.
Yeah.
And my issue with all of this is the fight that happened 1 or 2 fights after this, the co-main event, Jeremy Pakatu and Ulumi, was probably the best fight I've seen this year. It was an absolute smash fest. The guys went 3 rounds. Pakatu was bleeding all over the cage. Ulumi's eye was completely closed. He couldn't even see out of it, and they just smashed each other for 3 rounds. But the respect shown between them in the interviews. Ulumi asked his home crowd to cheer his opponent walking into the cage. Like, everything that fight was is what MMA is supposed to be. But everyone's going to focus on the bullshit that happened in this fight, which I think is unfortunate. But I can tell you that being in the arena, it was an absolute mess.
Okay. Did you get cracked?
No.
Did you crack anyone?
No, I was in the van.
You just
so
saying that allowed
I didn't see anything. I was just watching and editing
the guy
everything.
fucking editing shit. You were just trying to. Yeah, I know you.
So if you go onto YouTube or if you go onto social
Yeah.
media, you'll see the
Have a look.
memes already out there of Chad pushing the guy and the soccer player rolling all over the world. There's a couple of good ones already out there, but it is an unfortunate incident that had happened. The fight was great. I think JP had a good debut. I think Hamza, he fought pretty well. It is his first loss as well. So a lot of high tension, high emotions going up there. But also stay tuned this week and next week. We are making all of the announcements on who is fighting at Brave South Africa in December.
Yeah.
All of those fight announcements are coming out this week, so stay tuned. We'll discuss them on next week's podcast as well. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks, Julio. I think
All right,
we're done.
cool. Share. Can I just get back to the views like we did last week? We more than tripled our viewership this week. Hey? We more than tripled. We're up to nearly 200 views on the podcast, which
That's
is
pretty
fucking
good going.
fantastic. Well, I'm going to be a celebrity one of these days. I can't wait. Okay, so share it with your mates. Like it, share it. If you're into fighting, this is the podcast for you.
And again, if there's anything you want us to review, any videos you want us to look at and talk shit about, post them on Facebook, social media, anywhere else, and we'll have a chat about it next week.
Double sweet. See you next week.
Thanks,
you,
guys.